So basically, if you don't know, ever since the Blood Ties DLC for Rise of the Tomb Raider, people have basically been speculating about Tomb Raider 2 Remake being in the works. And that's because that DLC contained multiple Tomb Raider 2 references, and now that the trilogy's over, it seems possible that Crystal Dynamics will remake one of the most beloved Tomb Raider games of all time. But I don't want a Tomb Raider 2 remake, at least not now. Why not now? Well, to answer that, let's start with the last remake, Tomb Raider Anniversary, which was a pretty big success. And it might have been a really good remake on its own, but I feel like a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that the Tomb Raider series was also very different back then. First, and probably most importantly, Tomb Raider games were still very linear. Remaking the linear levels of Tomb Raider 1 was not a departure from the normal. But that's just not the case anymore. The newer Tomb Raider games have put more and more emphasis on creating connected and open worlds. This model just doesn't fit the linear, globe-spanning adventures of the early Tomb Raider games. Secondly, combat is just completely different. Tomb Raider went from a simple action-adventure shooter with auto-aim to a cover-based stealth shooter. They even completely removed the dual pistols, which were a staple of the old Tomb Raider games. The health system is also completely different now, removing the importance of medkits. And the thing is, back in 2007, these mechanics were still very similar to the original games, albeit more refined. Finally, the Tomb Raider franchise has put more of an emphasis on story as time went on. I'm not saying that these stories were necessarily good, but they have become more important over time. The problem here is that while Tomb Raider 1 had a pretty basic but decent story to work with, Tomb Raider 2's story makes no sense and pretty much exists just to move Lara from one location to the next. This alone would be a huge obstacle for a remake. The story would have to either be rewritten or nearly non-existent as it originally was. I'll be honest, I would love a Tomb Raider 2 remake. The game was a huge part of my childhood, and seeing it remade for modern audiences would be amazing. But I would want it to be done right, and with the current direction of the Tomb Raider series, I'm very skeptical. It would just completely clash with the gameplay mechanics and storytelling of the new Tomb Raider games. I mean, I honestly doubt that a Tomb Raider 2 remake is really in the works, but if it is, I don't think it could live up to expectations.